So, as I was saying, I'm Dr. Kanika. I'm board certified in internal medicine and obesity medicine. I have a master's in public health. I really have a passion for equity, diversity, and I live in Wakanda, also known as Atlanta. And I'm married, three kids, for all intents and purposes, living the American dream, right? But the reason I'm here is because at this stage in my life, I am realizing that there is more to be done. You know, for all of us, this past year has been really, really challenging. Um, I'm no exception. COVID was a once in a lifetime event. Really, really made me rethink some of my priorities, made me rethink, realize a reminder that life is fleeting. We're only here for a short period of time. And what do we do with that time that we're here? And I think, COVID came on the back of so many years of just police brutality, just the killing of unarmed Black men and women. And as a physician, as a person, and as a person of color, as a Black person um, you, who came from really humble beginnings. I worked hard. I did everything I was told to do. And if I did everything that I was told to do, then I would be safe, right? I would be living the American dream. And what I realized is that nobody's safe, that the system being what it is something that we all have to speak up against. I remember with one of the killings that happened, talking to a dear friend of mine, Dr. Peoples, and I said to her, I should have been an attorney. I should be a judge. I should be, working to fix the criminal justice system. I felt so helpless as a physician. Like, what is there for me to do here? And she said something that really, really resonated with me. She said, there are likely just as many deaths of Black people, poor people in the healthcare system, and you just don't see them. There are no cameras that can show you that someone held a gun and shot this person. It's not immediate. These deaths are slower. These deaths are not documented as clearly. But if you look in the healthcare system, there's so much inequity within the system. Um, and that really resonated with me. And one of the things I begin to think about is the fact that I can make a difference. I don't have to go back to law school. I don't have to become a judge. I can make a difference in my sphere. So, my sphere of influence is healthcare, and every single industry has needs. Every single industry has it's a system that's built on racial inequities and injustice. And so, if we all work within our sphere, then we can make a difference within our sphere. And if I work within the healthcare field and you work within, the mortgage and housing and lending industry, and if you work within the criminal justice field, if we all do our part, we can really, really make a difference. Um, and so realizing that, I was like, so what is my role? You know, I am privileged. I'm privileged as a doctor. I'm privileged, and if I'm silent, then I'm being complicit, silence. And so I will tell you, when I was in college, and this is a really, really long time ago, 1996. I remember being like, I really would love. Oh, it's not. I don't know how to make it clear. Um, mm, I don't know how to make this sound clear. Darn it. This technology and hmm, let's see. Maybe I'm gonna do one other thing and see if this helps. I'm just gonna take So I'll just try to do it this way and see if it works. Like I said, this is my first time. This is my first rodeo. So we'll see how it goes. Um, yeah. Crystalline said she couldn't hear, so I changed it and just took out my AirPods and just gonna see if it works. But if not, I'll do it again. This is kind of like my test run. So thanks so much for both of you for joining me and being on here with me. Oh, good. Okay, good. I took off my earbuds, so that probably was the issue. Um, so what I was saying is when I was in college, um, I remember being like, gosh, I really wish I could be Angela Davis. And as a 18-year-old student who had come from a really poor background, who was in college, um, I was and had a college scholarship. I was living the American dream. I was going to become a doctor. I mean, like, I was so happy to live in a time where there wasn't any racism, where if you just worked really, really hard, you could accomplish all the things you wanted to accomplish in life. Um, and once again, I was 18, I was naive, I did not know any better. But it's really interesting as I think about the steps and the roles that I want to take now, is that the 18-year-old version of me wanted to be Angela Davis. And the 40 something version of me realizes that Angela Davis, her work is not done. There's room for all of us in these spaces, and there's room for me, in the healthcare space. And so when I think about, my talents, anybody who knows me knows that I have a big mouth. I have lots and lots of opinions. I am bold, I am unapologetic, some would say defiant, and I've spent a long time getting in trouble because of those things. I've been told to sit down, be quiet, and I've been punished. From elementary all the way up until even my working career. Most people do not want to. They don't want to hear what you have to say when you're a child. And I will say, speak quite honestly, they don't want to hear what you have to say when you're a Black woman who's supposed to know her place. And that is one thing I have never, ever known my place. And so, hey, Ashley, thanks for coming. And so, I've always been, the person to speak truth to power, right? Before speaking truth to power was like even really a thing. Hi, Latoya, thanks for joining. And so, what I ask now is, what would my life look like? What would my life feel like if I put my passion, and my passion is people, my passion is equity, and I put my talents, my big mouth, my opinionated self, and I put those things together and I was unapologetically me? What would that look like? And I love quotes. I really love quotes. And so one of my favorite quotes is, be the change you want to see. And I think a lot of times we are looking at other people and we are hoping that somebody else is going to stand up and to do this thing. And my friend Latoya is on here. And I will tell you, a couple of years ago, there was an opening for like the diversity and equity committee at our school. There was positions on the PTA, and we were looking around at who's going to be on this PTA, who's going to run this diversity and equity committee. And you're looking for, the leaders to step up and do it. And you realize like, oh, that's me. It's my turn to like step into this space and to do these things. And I think being the change you want to see is the first step for all of us, to look around and realize that these things are not going to change unless we change them. And so that's what I'm hoping to do. I'm hoping to be that change, to maybe inspire somebody, to help expand. I think awareness is first, and because if you don't know, you can't make a difference. So bring awareness to a lot of the things that are happening within the healthcare field, that are resulting in Black and Brown people having shorter lives, that are resulting in unnecessary deaths. And so I'm going to be the change, and I'm going to use my voice to do that. And I've always been an idealist. I always had really big dreams. I always had really big aspirations. When I went to medical school because I was like, I want to help people. And it sounds so basic. And, when people say that, I'm just like, yeah, sounds so naive, and I will tell you 20 years later I just still want to help people. So maybe it's not naive. Maybe that's the part of what helps the world go around. Another one of my favorite quotes is, if not now, when? If not me, then who? And so that just really goes back to why now, why me, what is it that I'm trying to accomplish, what is it that I'm hoping to accomplish. And I really, really hope to create a space that shines a spotlight on the health inequities that Black and Brown people face in the healthcare system. I also really, you know, want people to know how that translates into shorter lifespans. I want people to know, like, there's just so much that goes into it. And when I talk to Dr. Peoples, we talk about what happens when that moment that is currently happening with the criminal justice system, what happens when that moment happens in the healthcare system, because that moment is coming. The numbers are there, the data is there. It is unimaginable. It is not okay. It is not okay in America that these things are happening to Black and Brown people in our healthcare system. We have a two-tiered healthcare system, and your outcomes are just far worse, when you are a Black person. And when we look at those things, what are the things that we can do? And so I don't want to be reactive. I don't want to be late to the party. I want to get in front of this, because this is a space, this is a sphere where I can actually make a difference. And what I will say is, I don't only want to shed a light on those things, but I also want to talk about how we can make a difference and how we can do better. I'm hopeful. I am hopeful. The world is a beautiful, beautiful place. And I think so frequently we are told something different. And I push that away. I think the world is filled with beauty, wonderful people who really, really care about other people. And so that's the space that I want to inhabit. And if I can just leave this world just a little bit better than it was when I got here, then I've done my part. So I'm not really sure how it's going to look. I am going to be exploring with you. I'm also going to be figuring it out. And like I said, just being the change that I want to see. And I just welcome you to join me on this journey. And I just want to say, so thanks for joining me. If it sounds like this is something that would be fun, join me, share this video, invite other people to join. You can follow me on, my handle is Dr. Kanika Sims, MD, at Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, like all those places. I'm about to get out there. I'm about to just use my voice, use my words, and hopefully, hi Cheryl. Hey, thanks for joining. And just see what I can do to be that change that I want to see. And in the words of John Lewis, I'm about to get into some good trouble. I've always gotten into trouble my entire life. And so I'm about to embrace that. I'm about to be that person. And I hope you'll join me into getting into some good trouble and making this world a better place. Thanks, guys, for joining me. Oh, thanks, Latoya. Love you too. You are my inspiration. So, thanks, guys.